So I would say from what we could see during these years that kale is definitely one of them crops that are the most space efficient in comparison to how much energy you can get out of it. So really what we have is we have a really tight space, and the base is really that we have 3 rows on a 75 centimeter bed, and the use of every square meters is really optimal, because this is something that we plant early. We plant it in early April, and we can start harvest it 1.5 months later, and then harvest it all through winter, all the way to the next time we plant the next seasons of cabbage or kale. But it's also one of them crops, obviously because it's a brassica, that we really need to think about how we use it in our crop rotation. So the crop rotation, what we use in the 2,000 square meters is a 7-year rotation, when we have 3 years of lay, one part or 3 sections of lay, 1 part grain for autumn, 1 part legumes that we consume, 1 part vegetables, and 1 part grains that we seed in the springtime, and also starts that we seed in the new lay in that one. So that's a 7-year circle. But this is also because it's the cabbage family, or the brassica family, is really the one that we need to adapt to the crop rotation. But having a crop like this is really, I would say, comparison to having a just like a pointy cabbage or a different type of cabbage when you harvest the whole thing. This is something that you can continue to harvest, as I mentioned earlier. And what we do is really that we harvest the base down, so keep it airy and nice. And this also affects so that the plant could continue to grow and keep them healthy, actually. And this is something that we do. You can make tons of different things with it, but it's really one of the most favorites, and the easiest thing is really to rip it up like this and massage it together with some rapeseed oil, and we have a really delicious vinegar with elderflower that we're usually using, and some salt. And that's really one of the base things throughout the whole winter also. This also, I mean, it's in early September, but it also becomes more sweet the further the season goes. But it's also, I wouldn't say that that's a major thing, but because it's delicious all the time. Yeah, this is a super crop in many ways, and I really enjoy it. Thank you. Yeah, so a part of what we really discovered through these years when we've been working with 2,000 square meters and the ideas about it is that the function of growing sugar on our agricultural land is not really the most valid or most clever way to produce sugar or sweetness. So a perennial crop like these grapes, this is the variety of Velts, the most beautiful variety that we see right now, the 5th of September. It's really a rich crop, and here on the 59th degree latitude or longitude, yeah, up here in the north, they still get a rich harvest, which is really a good thing. Also that we discovered like to not use sweetness in the same way that we usually do when we cook, and to find sweetness in our crops instead of adding sugar. So a perennial system is really the way to go as a part of the annual crop rotation. Welcome to the outdoor kitchen. Behind me we have a wood-fired oven, and I would say that this is a perfect setting within the farmstead as a part of experiencing 2,000 square meters on the place. Is also very closely connected to how we cook and how we perceive food and the culture around it. So these are some of the dishes that we mentioned earlier. This is the simple just kale salad with some calendula and some nasturtiums, and we added some of this vinegar. So this is the apple cider vinegar and some elderflower blooms. So they also that we choose to pick them and really to capture the flavors of that seasonality, and you get really a nice flavor to the base. This is like a variation of tomatoes We have some of the green tomatoes that we have right now. It's the 5th of September right now, and it's starting to get colder here in Sweden. We also have some ripe ones, of course. So what we did is just like raw tomatoes, obviously, and then I just like put it on the heat here, so it really gets charred. You get a really nice depth to it. And then we have a burrata in the base. It's also, with the proportions of the dairy into this 2,000 square meters, it's also a point. So we want to keep it down, but still, as we know, ruminants are a part of the whole 2,000 square meters circulation of nutrition also. So the burratas are very luxurious and it also has some cream to it, so you really can't have too much of the dairy in total, and some of the rapeseed oil also. So this is the dish with some of the carrots that we just recently harvested, some Chinese chives with the white flowers, and some of the carrot tops also, some sour cream, and some fermented, like a kimchi style carrot style also. Then we have the legumes base, and what I did is that I roasted some of the we also have some legumes over here, of course. We have the beans, and I forgot to tell you about it, but the legumes here is like the base of the agriculture, also like to really capture nitrogen to the soil, and to really to create a rich soil and healthy environment for the next coming plants. This is made out of beans that we mixed together with some of the roasted aubergine or eggplants that we roasted in here. So we made like a hummus with eggplants and mixed beans and some rapeseed oil. We also have some fermented red cabbage, some winter radishes, and some cucumbers. It's also like a starting thing. And also, so speaking about like how we're using the land of 2,000 square meters, I would say that all of these perennial crops that we have, none of these are, apart from this, are perennial. But like grapes like this is one of the really some of the key ingredients, I would say, in the future to find a healthy way to use your square space, like your square. This has been growing since '97, the grapes, and as you saw on the way up, you saw how they looked, and it's really a rich variety. This one is Silga. This is an old Baltic variety that really is thriving here in the cold climate also. It's really rich and sweet, and it doesn't have the same high sugar contents as the Venus Vitifera, but this is also a very good quality. So we make either you eat it like this, or we make like syrups, or we can use it as making a cider or something like a sweeter thing. You could also freeze it and then press it as a beverage. This is really delicious also. So this is a good setup where we have our summer restaurants where we harvest our crops close by. It comes here, and then we cook it, and then we serve it on place. So enjoy.